persona is partially uh, the result of the demands society has.
Have you ever stopped to think if the version of yourself you show to others is really you? Carl Jung had this idea that what we present to the world is actually more of a mask, something he called the persona. It's something we put on to fit into different situations, but how much of it is shaping who we are, and how much of it do we even notice? Well, Jung has the answers that we seek. The psychiatrist has some rather fascinating thoughts on how our minds perform. In his theory, this persona or mask has an effect on our relationships with others and how we see ourselves. This trait goes beyond appearances. It is a true element of our identity, which transforms and gets better over the course of our lives. You may be wondering, alright, but why should I give this any thought? Well, here's the thing. Understanding your persona can help to bring to light why you act differently in varied circumstances. But there's more. Jung presented it as a complicated system of interactions between individual consciousness and society.
So the persona is a certain complicated system of behavior which is partially dictated by society.
Sounds interesting, right? But that's not all.
And partially dictated by the expectations or the wishes one nurses oneself.
Yes.
Essentially, it provides a way for you to broadcast your internal thoughts to the world. The purpose of this design is to make an impression on people while also hiding parts of your life that you don't wish others to become aware of. Think of it like this. Imagine you're an actor in an old school play. For your character's portrayal, you wear a mask. That mask is your persona. It supports a smoother adjustment into your duties and your communication with the rest of your team members. In real life, we're all kind of like actors, putting on different masks for different situations. Now this is where things become truly interesting.
There are cases, for instance, where people have up to 5 different personalities.
Yes.
In cases of dissociation of personality.
Thus, we don't exist with a single persona. We have many personas. You may have one for work, a different one for family gatherings, and a third one for times when you're with friends. Each of these personas supports you in getting along within the various social environments. But when did we start developing these personas? Well, it traces back to childhood. We learn early on what actions gains us approval and what actions lead to trouble. We start shaping our persona based on what works best in different situations. As we mature, our personality becomes increasingly multidimensional. Unlike when we're young and straightforward, they rely on the culture, the environment, and the processes that we follow in our daily existence. Just imagine if you were raised in New York, your attitude would be one thing, while if you were raised on a farm, it would be another. Or if you have gone through some rough patches that may define how you dress, act, or even speak to the world. Which brings me to the next question. Is this persona thing good or bad? Like a majority of things in life, it does not follow a simple pattern. Surprisingly, having a persona actually is really important. It allows us to integrate into society and be effective in different social contexts. With its absence, we might find ourselves struggling to even respond to social interactions or manage our daily tasks. But there are risks associated with the way we perform our roles. Jung warned about this. If we start to believe that our persona is all that represents us, he said we may disconnect from who we truly are. It's kind of like you've got a mask on, and as time goes by, you start to lose sight of wearing it, and you think the mask is really your face. The frequent over-identification with our chosen persona can lead to some important problems. First of all, the real feelings and emotions of the characters may be taken away. We all know that feeling when you're not living your best life, or you're lying to yourself about something. That's exactly what can go wrong when we're too engaged with our persona. We may find ourselves living our lives in a way that is different from our own aspirations or the values we hold close in our hearts. But that's not the only problem. Our mental health may be affected, or it could upset the balance in our minds. For example, picture yourself as a person who is so concerned with keeping up this facade of being the ideal employee so that you don't ever relax. That kind of pressure can really take a toll on your mental health. You might find it hard to relax or cope with the stress because you're always trying to keep up this facade. So what can we do about all this? The issue of how to achieve a balance between using a persona that is workable and being genuine is very pertinent when developing a persona. The key is self-awareness. It is critical for us to be aware when we're acting and when we're not, and if we are wearing masks, we have to know why. It's about accepting that persona is a strategy in which we play the game, but it is not who we are. Jung has described this process as individuation. Don't be put off by the big word, it's just a process of turning into your authentic self. It concerns the process of making the hidden parts of a person's personality become conscious and then fully merge with the rest of a person's personality. In other words, it's important to include self-education to be familiar with all aspects of oneself as a person, not only the aspects that are brought out during your presentation. This process of individuation is super important. Jung even stated that it was the most significant function in it. But here's the catch. You can't do it if you're too occupied with your character. Do you recall that quotation we used previously? This captures Jung's point very well. It is impossible to individuate as long as one puts on a performance for persona. That was simply Jung telling the world that there is more to human beings than the masks they put on. But you're perhaps wondering, well, that's all fine in principle, but how does it work in real life? Alright, let me break it down for you how it works. First of all, there is self-analysis involved. Now, reflect about how you conduct yourself in certain annoying situations. There is almost always a division between personal and professional life. Are you the same person at work as you are at home? If not, what is your opinion about that situation? See if you can become aware of when you are putting on a different persona. What triggers it? How does it make you feel? Do you have moments more related to your personality than to another person? This is so helpful for anyone just staring at going through their own personas. Those are some good questions to consider. Another helpful thing to do is to pay attention to your reactions to others. Do you find yourself judging people based on the personas they present? Remember, just like you, they're probably wearing masks too. Try to look beyond the surface and connect with the real person underneath. It's also worth thinking about your childhood and how it might have shaped your persona. Were there certain behaviors that were really encouraged or discouraged? How might that have influenced the way you present yourself now? Understanding these influences can help you make more conscious choices about how you want to be in the world. And then there are our personal experiences, especially the tough ones. If you've been through some really challenging times, especially in childhood, that can have a really big impact on your persona. These experiences might lead you to develop specific ways of coping or defending yourself. It's like your persona becomes a shield, protecting you from further hurt. But here's the thing. While these protective personas might have been helpful at one point, they might not serve you well in all situations. Part of growing and healing is recognizing when these old patterns aren't working for you anymore, and finding new ways to interact with the world. Well, that marks the end of our video for today. We hope you liked and enjoyed it. On your way out, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button for more videos like these. Till next time.